right, now Jay, I'm gonna give you a solid 10.
Word.
And I want to hear the inside stuff on
All right, we'll see how
WWE
that
Fastlane,
goes. Suspend your disbelief is quite the phrase that you use to close out yours that would sideway into mine.
Oh, word?
So, all right, so we talk about WWE Fastlane, and this is Raw's last pay-per-view before they go into WrestleMania in the next 4 weeks or so. It's one of those pay-per-views. I mean, the last time I did a review, it was for a SmackDown pay-per-view, and I was incredibly excited because it was a great pay-per-view. But I knew not to get my hopes up too high for this one. And yeah, it didn't fail. Everything went essentially the way I expected it. A couple matches stood out.
Damn, brother. Okay, start off on a middle note there.
So I'm going to start off with a good note, end off on a little mini rant.
Yeah.
So, all right, Gallows and Anderson defended their tag titles against Cass and Enzo. It was all right. I thought it was a good match. The one thing that really stuck out that was interesting to me was that, one, WWE finally recognized the fact that Gallows and Anderson are only one of 3 tag teams to hold both the IWGP Tag Team Championship and the WWE Tag Team Championship. Before, they just said it, and they never would say the names of the other guys. I'm really impressed. They mentioned the Dudley Boys and the Steiners are the only 2 other tag teams that have hold the New Japan's tag team title and WWE. So it makes those 3, which is very monumental for them to actually recognize it. And for those who watched it, there's a little Easter egg that was in there that Anderson actually wore his Bullet Club tights for the match, which is crazy because he can't wear them technically because Bullet Club is owned and trademarked by New Japan. Mm-hmm. So he was like, whatever, with this, I'm rocking my gear. So
wait, could that have been an act of defiance, or could that have been a foreshadow?
I think a little bit of both. I think Vince wants to have the illusion to the Bullet Club, but since Vince doesn't own the Bullet Club, all Vince did was acquire all the older members of the Bullet Club. He wants to bank off their imagery without actually paying for the trademark. So they have these shirts that say Gallows and Anderson, but the design is still Bullet Club design. So it's like Vince taking these backdoor cuts, calling it the club. And it's like, come on, bro. If I'm the owner of New Japan, I'm ready to fight you because you're saying it, but you ain't. It's kind of like, I think I mentioned before, I think we had this conversation. I was saying it's like an NBA basketball owner saying, I'm gonna name my team the Newton C's. You're clearly stealing it from the Boston Celtics. We call it the Newton C's. You know, it's like, come on, bro.
Oh, hey man, you said that here on the Geek Down, brought to you by Geico. Come on, man, please save a lot of my money on car insurance. No, I feel you, but honestly, okay, let's be real too. Vince has enough money where it's just like he can use all that and just take the lawsuit. Like he's probably just playing it on the back.
At the end of the day, he could, but it's one of those sort of things. Like all he has to do is break off New Japan a little piece of the pie. But hey, listen, man. I'll break you off like 70%. I take 30 off the merch sales purely because he'll get more viewership and he'll stack the money off the advertising because, and I'm going to get into that a little later, the difference between a pro wrestling fan and a WWE fan because that plays big into what happens at the end of the pay-per-view. Right. But overall, it was a great match. Gallows and Anderson won. They took a shortcut, but the shortcut was done so very well that it didn't cheapen it for them. So they did cheap, but it didn't cheapen it. If you catch what I'm saying, because sometimes when a pro wrestler cheats out of a match and they win, it cheapens the win, even though they cheat. So you can cheat, and a cheat can look very favorably in terms of their character.
Yeah, you talking about Yokozuna tag when the ref is looking versus finger poke of doom.
Exactly. Good reference. Good reference. All right, Nia Jax went up against Sasha Banks. I mean, the one thing I was really impressed at, Nia Jax looked really good. I mean, I've been complaining, and I've been recognizing the fact that she's been improving her moveset. I mean, because she's a big girl, she's been moving around, but she's definitely greatly improved her moveset. I mean, I've never seen a woman take another woman, throw her over the shoulders, and proceed to do squats with her on her shoulders, son. It was like, is she doing squats with another woman over her shoulders? It was bonkers. But it was really...
She's no joke, though, man.
She is no joke. I mean, she has like a good 120, 150-pound weight advantage on Sasha Banks. And
it's all leg, baby.
It really is, man. And Sasha rolled her up for the win. It was a little sloppy for the roll-up, but it's one of those... It was a sloppy roll-up, but you kind of got to give her a pass because of the weight differential. So it's one of those... She did the best she could, being a woman who weighs maybe like 110 pounds soaking wet versus a woman who weighs probably about 220, you know what I mean? So it went as good as it could do, but I was just highly impressed with that. But her squatting with another human being over her shoulders, it was done very well.
Unnecessary, though.
It was so unnecessary, but it was funny. It was hilarious. All right, the cruiserweight match. Jack Gallagher went up against Neville. These are 2 cruiserweights, and they just did very well. It was flying all over the ring. It was very entertaining. Gallagher did a headstand twice on top of the turnbuckle, which was just funny. And it was just nice little jockeying back and forth. And it was done very, very well. It was very entertaining, to say the least. Bailey defended her belt against Charlotte. She kept her belt. Good for her.
Well, there was a quick like I caught some of the interviews beforehand.
Mhm.
There was like a big deal there, where it was like wouldn't somebody like what we called not eliminated, someone couldn't make that match, right?
What, for Charlotte and Bailey?
Yeah.
No, what it was that Charlotte usually comes down to the ring with her valet, if you will, or her protege, Dana Brooke. And Bailey called her up and said, well, if you really are woman enough to fight me, what you would do is you'll tell Dana Brooke to stay in the back. So Charlotte comes out and just looked at her and told her, get off my stage, and just dismissed her.
Oh,
and Dana Brooke went back, and Charlotte came out, and they fought, and it was an interesting win. I mean, Sasha Banks came out and interfered in not in a dirty sort of way, but Charlotte rolled up Bailey, grabbed her tights, and Sasha flagged her. She's holding the tights.
Oh,
and
you snitch.
She snitched.
Snitching.
She dry snitched on her, and she did. Ref was like, get off her tights. And of course, Charlotte gets up, screams at Sasha Banks. Bailey catch with the belly to belly. Finishing move, pinned her. Match is done. It was all right match. I think the wrap up of the match, the closing of the match was okay, but the match itself, they were flying all over the place, doing good spots. I mean, it was good.
Okay, the title's on the line. I'd like to think they're not half-assing it.
There wasn't half-assing it. I think the finish was an okay finish. It was the best possible finish you could have in that sort of scenario, what they was trying to build up. And it ended Charlotte's streak of being undefeated in a pay-per-view. They kept bigging it up. It's like, okay, this is her 16th fight at a pay-per-view. She's never been pinned and blah, blah, blah. She never lost at a pay-per-view until this one. And it's kind of weird that they wasted it right now. They could have done it at WrestleMania. So it's kind of weird they did it right now at this pay-per-view for her to lose. She should have won this pay-per-view and lost at WrestleMania. I think it would have been a bigger pop for her character. Sidetrack real quick. Owens and Goldberg. It was a match that lasted a little over 20 seconds, and
Another
Goldberg
one?
became champion.
Oh, bullshit.
So, and that... Go ahead, say what you got to say.
This is like a historical thing where it's like, it should be, Goldberg's the first dude to hold the WCW title, and now the WWE title, right?
WWE Universal title, correct?
Universal,
Yep,
yeah.
he's the first one.
Okay. So a match of that caliber, like this is some record breaking stuff. You telling me like one of those 20-second Brock Lesnar-esque matches?
It was worse than Brock Lesnar.
How was it worse?
I mean, Brock Lesnar at least had some offense. Owens had zero offense. Owens was starting off good, doing like the stalling tactic before the bell rang. So he would go out, walk around, come back in, roll out, walk around. He did that for a good like 5 minutes. Okay, let's see where this is going. He steps into the ring. Jericho's music hits. He sees Jericho at the top of the apron because him and Jericho got this beef. Ref rings the bell. He turns around. Lesnar spears him. Jackhammers him. Wins the title in about 22 seconds or so.
Goldberg, you mean?
Here. Yes, exactly.
Goldberg, you mean?
Goldberg got it.
Dude, that's garbage. Okay. How long did he have the title?
Oh my God. You talking about Owens?
Yeah.
Man, he has since August.
Yo.
So that face right there is where I want to segment it to.
Okay.
They used to say, your pro wrestling fans are livid. They are angry. They are frustrated. I mean, I got a little group. Folks are mad on the group. What the hell is it? Blah, blah. I knew this was going to happen, blah, blah. And this is the answer that I got. I'm not as mad because I knew this was going to happen. And it's not because I like the way it was booked. It's not because I understand why they booked it, but it is, I kind of understand it. WWE booked it for their fans, not for pro wrestling fans. The way these matches are booked, they're booked for WWE fans. So if you are a WWE fan, you are bought into Goldberg, you're bought into him as a character, you're bought into him in his imagery, you're bought into certain characters, you're bought into that story. You're not bought into pro wrestling. So you're so trapped into this angle, you're not looking at the ramifications, because you, my friend, as a pro wrestling fan, you're able to understand and see how this does not make sense for someone like Kevin Owens, who carried his belt since August, but yet he's going to go into the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania, and not have his title. But rather Goldberg, who's a part-timer and 50 years old, who can't wrestle for more than a couple of minutes, because that's really what it comes down to. He gets 2 bad knees. So you got a guy who's a part-timer with 2 bad knees. He's gonna hold on to this belt for 4 weeks and not show up until WrestleMania. You got Lesnar. You got Lesnar, who's another part-timer who's not going to show up for 4 weeks. You know what I mean? So you got these part-timers who are headlining your pay-per-view. For pro wrestling fans, that's asinine and insulting because you have a whole roster of guys who you're like, yo, give these guys a chance. Yeah. They have talent. They have the ability. But if you're a WWE fan, you just care about the spotlight and the glitch. You like the Goldberg chant. You like the smoke. You like the visual effect of it, but you're not really bought into the wrestlers and their careers. You haven't followed them. So for me as a pro wrestling fan, I'm looking at it as, I remember Owens, he was Kevin Steen, where he was wrestling in freaking middle school gyms. He made it onto WWE. They told him that he wasn't going to make it, and he made it, and he pushed through, and he's doing a great job. But next thing you know, it's done, and his push just got ended. And it's just one of those sort of things where out of nowhere, you're like, what happened to this guy? And now it just stopped. And at the same time, I was like, okay, you got Goldberg, and congratulations for all you WWE fans. It's a great deal. Goldberg looked great. Roman Reigns looked great. All your WWE guys look great. But for all these other these guys who extend beyond WWE, who have fan bases outside of WWE, are being pushed to the side. And AJ Styles, too. He's another one. Held the WWE title for a year. He's not going to go into WrestleMania with it. And it's just like, I'm not mad because I knew it was going to happen.
Man, okay, that's honestly, I think when the whole thing of more presentation and, let's be real, politics comes into it than actual wrestling itself. I understand, and we've had for a long time to swallow that there's a big difference between standard professional sports and professional wrestling. But I mean, at the very least, I would hope that they'd have some level of of purity of the wrestling maintained, just with that understanding of, it's like, yo, we're meeting you halfway. You know, does it come down to there's more money to be made from pulling like BS like this? Because I was looking forward to Goldberg matches. Granted, I don't have the PPV setup like you do, but yo, I get the news afterwards. I'm just like, yo, I want to see a solid match. I check the highlights. When those highlights are less than 20 seconds,
pretty much, there was a GIF of the match, bro. Legit GIF of the match. You're like saying like a whole GIF of this. The whole match was wrapped up in the GIF. I think it is money, and I think it's consistency. Because at the end of the day, if I know that I'm gearing my product towards kids who are going to watch it, who will go buy the shirts, mom's going to spend her check and get the kid to come to the show, and you don't have to worry about the kid compared to anything else. I mean, from time to time, you'll hear me on the show compare WWE pay-per-views to New Japan, and I'll say, without a doubt, New Japan has a better product. You won't hear a WWE fan ever say that. They'll just say, I love WWE, and that's all I watch. I watch John Cena. I watch Roman Reigns. I watch Brock Lesnar. I watch these guys. And I'm like, well, those guys aren't the best guys. You'll find better guys in Ring of Honor. That's how you got Kevin Owens, because he came out of Ring of Honor. That's how you got Seth Rollins, because he came out of Ring of Honor. I don't want to talk about all that stuff before. I just want to talk about him right now in WWE, as if everyone else doesn't matter. And I think that's where Vince realized that his goal is to build up his own WWE base, not to go after pro wrestling fans, but to go after WWE fans who are tied into the product, not pro wrestling. And it's unfortunate, but there you go.
Thank you, Jay, for that. And I'll remind all listeners, you can still sign up for Bodog Fight. It's out there.
Bump fights in the middle of Holly Square.
All right. Now, Jay, thank you very much. That was a breakdown of WWE Fastlane. What's next on the roster? You know, offhand?
WrestleMania will be next in about 4 weeks or so. So that's it.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Well, I mean,